The clock is ticking. Every second counts, each tick echoing the relentless march towards a cataclysmic moment. Not a metaphorical clock, but the timer inside a modified Soviet bomber, a machine of war repurposed for an experiment of unimaginable scale. This isn't about minutes or hours, it's about the final fleeting seconds before history is rewritten. October 30th, 1961. A date etched in infamy. A day when humanity flirted with the unthinkable. The height of the Cold War, a period of intense ideological struggle and the constant threat of nuclear annihilation. High above Novaya Zemlya in the Arctic Circle, a desolate and unforgiving landscape, a colossal bomb falls from the sky, a symbol of power and a testament to the destructive capabilities of mankind. It's attached to a parachute, not for mercy, not to lessen the impact on the ground, but to give the pilots a slim chance to escape the sheer force of the blast. A desperate gamble against the odds. They have just minutes, precious few moments, to outrun what they've unleashed, to put as much distance as possible between themselves and the impending cataclysm. The Tupolev Tu-95V, the Bear, a behemoth of the skies, roars away at top speed, its engines straining against the weight of its deadly cargo and the urgency of its mission. Below, the frozen landscape is indifferent, silent, ancient, a witness to millennia of natural processes, now about to be scarred by the hand of man. But that silence is about to be obliterated, shattered by a force unlike anything the world has ever seen. The quiet of the Arctic will soon be replaced by the roar of the apocalypse. The bomb, in 602, known as Tsar Bomba, the king of bombs, descends, a terrifying symbol of human ambition and destructive potential. The product of years of secret work and Cold War fear, a culmination of scientific prowess and political paranoia, a weapon designed to intimidate and deter, but also capable of unimaginable devastation. The men who built it pushed the limits of science and sanity, venturing into uncharted territory with a mixture of pride, apprehension, and perhaps a touch of madness. The pilots don't look back, their eyes fixed on the horizon, their minds focused on the task at hand. Their mission: fly and survive. A simple objective, yet fraught with peril. Every second brings the bomb closer to its detonation altitude, the point of no return. 4 kilometers above the ground, a height chosen to maximize the bomb's destructive power while minimizing the risk of radioactive fallout. The parachute holds back the inevitable for a moment longer, a brief reprieve before the storm. 10 seconds, 9, 8. The world below is unaware it's about to be changed forever, its pristine beauty about to be scarred by the most powerful weapon ever detonated. 7, 6, 5. What were the pilots thinking? As they raced away from the drop zone, what thoughts occupied their minds? Family? Survival? The weight of their responsibility? Or just the instruments in front of them? The relentless data stream demanding their full attention. 4, 3, 2, 1, 8. 8:33 a.m. Moscow time. The world changes, irrevocably altered by the force unleashed upon it. A flash brighter than 1,000 suns erupts over Mytyushka Bay, a blinding wave of energy radiating outwards in all directions. It's seen over 1,000 kilometers away, a testament to the sheer scale of the explosion. The Arctic silence is annihilated, replaced by the roar of the blast and the echoes of a world-altering event. To understand why such a bomb, a weapon of unimaginable scale, was conceived and ultimately built, we must return to the tumultuous era of the Cold War, a period defined by ideological conflict and the looming threat of nuclear annihilation. The world was split, the United States and its allies united under the banner of NATO on one side, and the Soviet Union, along with its satellite states in the Eastern Bloc, bound by the Warsaw Pact on the other. It was a time of spies operating in the shadows, proxy wars fought across the globe, and a relentless, escalating nuclear arms race that threatened to consume all of humanity. The atomic bomb, a terrifying marvel of science, was the ultimate symbol of power, a trump card in this global game of brinkmanship. Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev, a figure known for his bombastic rhetoric, wanted to prove the USSR's might on the world stage. He didn't just want to match the US's nuclear capabilities, he wanted to surpass them, to utterly stun them into submission. He demanded a bomb so powerful, so devastating, that it would silence all doubt about the Soviet Union's dominance. The daunting task of creating this behemoth fell to brilliant Soviet physicists like Andrei Sakharov, a name that would later become synonymous with both scientific achievement and moral courage. They labored tirelessly in secret cities, hidden away from the world. They wrestled with the complex physics of thermonuclear reactions, pushing the boundaries of scientific understanding. They were driven by a potent mix of patriotism, a desire to serve their nation, and haunted by the terrifying implications of the weapon they were creating, the potential for unimaginable destruction. The Soviets felt increasingly behind in the nuclear arms race, a perception fueled by the so-called missile gap. They felt directly threatened by the proximity of U.S. bomber aircraft stationed at bases around the world, capable of delivering nuclear payloads to Soviet targets. The Tsar Bomba, a weapon of unprecedented power, was conceived as their ultimate answer to this perceived imbalance. It wasn't designed as a practical weapon of war, but rather as a psychological one, a tool of coercion and intimidation. It was simply too big, too unwieldy to be effectively deployed on a battlefield. But it was perfectly suited for sending a chilling message to the West, a stark demonstration of Soviet technological prowess. A demonstration of power so extreme, so utterly devastating, it was intended to serve as the ultimate deterrent, a guarantee against any potential aggression. A clear and unmistakable message to Washington, written not in ink, but in the terrifying language of plutonium and fire. Officially, it was Product 602, a bland, almost bureaucratic name, especially considering what it truly represented. It was a label designed to mask the sheer terror it was meant to inspire. The Tsar Bomba was not just any nuclear weapon. It was a three-stage thermonuclear weapon, a design that allowed for an unprecedented level of explosive power. This multi-stage approach was key to its immense yield. Its design and potential dwarfed anything seen before, far beyond Hiroshima's single-stage bomb, Little Boy. The difference in scale was almost incomprehensible. The original design called for a staggering 100 megatons, a figure that even the scientists involved struggled to fully grasp. That's 100 million tons of TNT, an almost unimaginable amount of explosive force concentrated into a single device. The implications were terrifying, but such a colossal explosion would have created catastrophic radioactive fallout, blanketing vast areas and even threatening the Soviet Union itself with its own weapon. The risk was simply too great. So, in a crucial modification, the designers made a calculated decision. They replaced uranium with lead in the third stage, a change that would significantly alter the bomb's characteristics. This substitution had the effect of having the yield to a still enormous, but more manageable, about 50 megatons. More importantly, this change dramatically reduced the amount of radioactive fallout by an estimated 97%, a significant reduction with global implications. Paradoxically, this made it one of the cleanest nuclear bombs ever detonated, at least when considering the sheer magnitude of its explosive power. Even at half power, with the modifications in place, it was still an absolute behemoth, a testament to human engineering and destructive potential. It measured a staggering 8 meters long, a truly immense size for any weapon, and it was 2 meters wide in diameter, further emphasizing its colossal proportions. All told, it weighed a massive 27 tons, requiring specialized equipment just to move it. The sheer size and weight meant that the Tu-95V bomber, the only aircraft capable of carrying it, had to undergo extensive and specialized modifications just to carry it safely. The exterior of the bomb was meticulously painted white, a crucial step to reflect the intense thermal blast that would erupt upon detonation. Every single detail, from its immense size to its specialized paint, underscored the unprecedented scale and the inherent danger of what they'd built in the name of nuclear supremacy. The Tsar Bomba's power is almost beyond comprehension. Hiroshima's bomb was 15 kilotons. Tsar Bomba was over 3,300 times more powerful. In one flash, it unleashed more energy than all the explosives used in World War II, 10 times over. The fireball was nearly 8 kilometers wide, hotter than the sun's surface. Detonated over a city, it would have vaporized the center and destroyed everything for dozens of kilometers. Third-degree burns would have been inflicted 100 kilometers away. For a moment, humanity created a miniature star on Earth. This was not just a weapon. It was a planetary event. The scientists knew the numbers, but witnessing the reality was sobering. The Tsar Bomba was a force of nature, unleashed by human hands. Its destructive potential was a warning to all. Novaya Zemlya, a remote Arctic archipelago, was chosen for its isolation. The Mityushika Bay test site was ground zero, a stark, frozen landscape. On October 30th, 1961, the only signs of life were the bombers overhead and the abandoned village of Severny, 55 kilometers from the blast. Severny was left as a witness to measure the bomb's power. The Tu-95V bomber, led by Major Andrei Dernovtsev, was joined by a Tu-16 observation plane. Both were painted white, but survival depended on speed and distance. As the bomb fell, the ancient silence of the Arctic held for a moment longer. The Tsar Bomba was about to shatter it forever. The detonation was instant and absolute. At 4,000 meters, the fission trigger fired, a flash of white light seen as far as Norway and Finland. For those nearby, it was like a second sun, blinding and searing. The fireball expanded rapidly, vaporizing the ground beneath it. Within seconds, it reached 8 kilometers wide. The heat scorched the bombers, even 50 kilometers away. The mushroom cloud rose with incredible speed, reaching 64 kilometers high, 7 times Mount Everest. Its cap spread nearly 100 kilometers wide. Severny was obliterated, wooden houses vaporized, brick buildings flattened. The ground was fused into glass. The landscape became alien, scarred forever. The reality of the bomb's power was undeniable. After the light and heat came the shockwave, a supersonic wall of force. Even 100 kilometers away, the Tu-95V was battered, dropping a kilometer in altitude. The shockwave broke windows in Finland and Norway, 900 kilometers from ground zero. Had this been a city, the devastation would have been unimaginable. The shockwave circled the globe, detected by sensors worldwide. It echoed around the planet 3 times, a physical reminder of the bomb's reach. The Tsar Bomba proved that a single event could affect the entire world. The nuclear age meant no one was truly isolated. The Earth itself rang with the force of the explosion. The warning was clear. Humanity now wielded planet-shaking power. News of the test sent shockwaves around the globe. Western intelligence quickly confirmed the unprecedented explosion. Governments condemned the act. The public reacted with fear and awe. Images of the mushroom cloud became symbols of Cold War madness. For many, the Tsar Bomba was the ultimate nightmare made real. Even its creators, like Sakharov, were shaken. He would become a leading voice for disarmament. The test accelerated nuclear test ban negotiations. In 1963, the Partial Test Ban Treaty was signed, pulling the world back from the brink. The Tsar Bomba's legacy is unsettling. It was a weapon of terror, never meant for actual war. Its power was so great it was unusable, a monument to the limits of nuclear force. After Tsar Bomba, the arms race shifted to smaller, more usable weapons. Looking back, it stands as a warning from a more dangerous age. The bomb was never duplicated. Its lesson was clear. The world was forced to confront the reality of its own destructive potential. The Tsar Bomba remains the weapon the world was too afraid to use.